The biggest problem the Republicans had, the establishment ones, is that they refused to rig the game in much the same way the Democrats did and continued to do. And thus, Donald Trump came sweeping through, wiping out the old establishment cronies who weren't getting the job done. This was good news for a lot of Americans who actually got a candidate who was kind of the person they wanted, for better or for worse. That's who they voted for. That's who they got. Imagine if the RNC colluded the way the DNC did to keep out Donald Trump, and they could have done it. Unfortunately, they failed. Over on the Democrat side, however, they succeeded. Bernie Sanders was the more popular candidate. I mean, at the very least, for all of his faults, he was substantially more popular than Hillary Clinton. And mind you, 12 to 18%, that's the number, because it's a couple different polls, of Bernie Sanders voters flipped for Trump. Imagine what would have happened if the DNC said, fine, Bernie, we'll give it to you. Guess who would have won? Now, I know a lot of people say Bernie couldn't beat Trump, but you got to recognize Trump won by thin margins against Hillary Clinton in some key states. I don't know if that necessarily means he was guaranteed to lose if he did win, a couple of these states, but Bernie could have easily won many of them. And Trump, for a lot of people, around 12 to 18% of Bernie's supporters, well, Trump was the better of the two between Trump and Hillary. That means if you got Bernie up against Donald Trump in 2020, Bernie does stand a chance. Now, unfortunately, and I believe for a lot of reasons, Bernie is probably the best choice for the Democrats. I don't think he can win at this point. Trump has kind of proven himself on key issues. Now, he's proven himself in more ways than one. I mean, for one, he's proven himself to be the bombastic, aggressive, arrogant bully that everyone assumed he was going to be. And, a lot of people might take issue with the word bully, but look, for better or for worse, Trump doesn't take BS from anybody, no matter what. He pushes back. And that's one of the reasons people liked him. When he was debating Hillary Clinton, he would say, excuse me, when she would try and interrupt him, but then he would interrupt her. And you know what? To a lot of people, they say, listen, you might not appreciate that when you're in a professional setting, but when you got someone selling on your behalf, going to a foreign country and pushing other people around, you probably it's a guy who's going to win a fight for you. Well, now we can see the DNC establishment has not stopped. Obama privately said he would speak up to stop Sanders. I kid you not. Well, look, man, Bernie's always been an independent, okay? He's running as a Democrat because it's his best shot. And in my opinion, he's actually hurting the Democrats a lot. However, if Bernie wins, I think, man, I don't know. At this point, I don't think Bernie could win, so I can only say it's bad. In 2016, you could have had populist left versus populist right, but the DNC establishment intervened in a lot of ways. Passing off questions. There was, there's a lot of stuff I don't want to rehash. Suffice it to say, we know the cronies colluded, okay? One of the most notable things was Donna Brazile giving questions in advance to Hillary. We know there's the superdelegate system. The system's set up in this way. Republicans didn't want to play that game. Well, too bad. Let's read the story and see what's going on with Obama. And then I got some fun and excitement for you YouTube fans. Shoe on Head versus Styx Hexenhammer in an epic debate. Trump versus Bernie. And we'll read through their Twitter thread. It's kind of funny. President Obama privately said he would speak up to stop Bernie Sanders from becoming the Democratic presidential nominee, Politico reported Tuesday. The former president reportedly said if Sanders held a strong lead in the Democratic primary, he would speak out to prevent him from becoming the nominee. That's crazy. But you know what? For all of Obama's faults, at this point, the Democrats got to push back on Sanders, man. Look, I get it. A lot of people really like the guy. But right now, up against Trump and the strong economy, this is not the advantage. Like those people who voted for Bernie in 2016 and didn't want to vote for Trump but ended up doing it anyway, a lot of them are going to stay with Trump now that the economy is doing well and they don't want to back down. What you need to know about these voters, I'm not talking about black frame glasses college students going like, I'm all for Bernie, but without Bernie, I'm going to vote for Trump. No, I'm talking about a 45-year-old plumber who said, listen, man, Bernie's been a lifelong politician. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but he's talking about ending these trade agreements. He's talking about strengthening labor unions. I like where he's going with this, and I want these jobs back. Donald Trump was saying similar things. So they said, it's plan B, right? Now you've got Trump who's proven it. And these 45-year-old, blue-collar tradesmen are saying, like, why rock the boat? Okay, Bernie had his shot. He didn't get it. Well, Trump's got his ship, and the ship is sailing. Let's read on. Quote, a close advisor to Obama told Politico he could not confirm whether Obama would stand up against Sanders. Well, he already kind of is. Obama came out and said, stop going far left. Don't start a revolution. He hasn't said that directly to me. The only reason I'm hesitating at all is because, if Bernie were running away with it, I think maybe we would all have to say something, but I don't think that's likely. That's not happening. They are really, really trying to stop Bernie, man. Wow, that's impressive. An Obama spokesperson, when asked about his previous comments on Sanders, referred to the president's past comments that he would back whomever became the Democratic nominee. Quote, "Look, we have a field of very accomplished, very serious and passionate and smart people who have a history of public service. And whoever emerges from the primary process, I will work my tail off to make sure that they are the next president," Obama said earlier this month, according to his spokesperson. Obama has stayed quiet throughout the campaign about which candidate he would support, but has offered to meet with any candidate in the primary and has given advice to those who meet him, according to news outlets. A close advisor told Politico that I can't even imagine with this field how bad it would have to be for him to say something. But earlier this month, the president warned they're going too far left. So we get it, right? Let's jump over to the more fun and exciting Twitter fight between your favorite YouTubers. Shoe-on-Head, who is a big fan of Bernie Sanders. I don't necessarily know how you describe her because she's been described a lot of ways, but she does kind of anti-SJW comedy on YouTube. You're probably familiar with her. If not, that's who she is. And she's a huge fan of Bernie Sanders. Styx Hexenhammer. I hate describing people because I don't get it wrong, but Styx is more so a libertarian, also rather anti-SJW, so there's a decent overlap, but they're having a debate on Twitter. And guys, it's a good one. It is. I really do mean it. I think it's a good conversation between a pro-Bernie Sanders and a more pro-Trump. I don't want to say that Styx is pro-Trump because I don't know for sure, so Styx, you can clarify later on. But I think they're both great YouTubers. You have Shoe-on-Head and Styx Hexenhammer. I know a lot of people might find it hard to find that channel. Sorry, Styx, that's, But anyway, let's read what the Twitter battle is all about. June tweets, "Establishment Democrats trying to stop Sanders from becoming the nominee? Goodness me, why I never." And I completely agree with that sentiment. I've made numerous videos about the crony cheating as far as I'm concerned. Well, it's not necessarily, this one isn't so much cheating. This is like Obama trying to use his weight to stop Sanders from gaining popularity. It's not the worst cheating we've seen, and there has been cheating, but it's definitely Democratic establishment interference. This one is more on the level. You know what? Should they be intervening to stop him? I mean, it's on the level. If Obama wants to speak up to say no to Bernie, I can't say it's necessarily the wrong thing to do. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion, right? But it's just another grain of sand in that heap of the DNC constantly trying to push out populist outsider candidates. Mind you, Elizabeth Warren is, in my opinion, and as other people have told me, she's Hillary Clinton wearing a Bernie Sanders mask. Right, she's been caught in numerous lies. She's saying what she needs to say, and that's why the establishment is okay with her. She's their plan B. She's their defense for Bernie Sanders. Split the vote between Warren and Sanders so Biden can take the cake. Styx Hexenhammer responds, "For all the bluster by his fans, Sanders is an elderly socialist fundamentally incapable of winning a general, when most independent voters despise socialism as a principle, regardless of whether he is a purist or not. He couldn't even beat haggard Hillary." June says, "He lost because of hand-picked party superdelegates and DNC effery. He's objectively the most popular out of all of them when you don't count Biden, still striding on name recognition in early polls." I agree with June here, right? Now, Styx has got a point about independence and socialism. I think Bernie could have pulled something off in 2016, but he's really, really embraced that socialism. And with Trump's economy, I don't see it happening. Styx then adds, "He was consistently behind in the delegate count through the primaries. He was absolutely schlonged, but he would not have won anyways. Sanders is not the most popular candidate." June says, "He literally has the most grassroots support." To Styx's counter, "Technically Trump does. It should be clear by now that having an army of near-broke college kids donating $1 apiece doesn't win you elections." June adds she thinks that actually Bernie has more individual donors. But then Styx counters, June goes on to say, "Donating $1 apiece doesn't win you elections. No, but it should be the only way to fund a campaign. Trump said he wouldn't take any corporate money, and now he does. Yet Bernie makes it this far with broke college kids. You hate to see it." I agree with June on this one. I do not like the big money in politics. I don't like Bloomberg dumping $37 million into the race just to smear Trump, okay? Trump didn't spend that much money. Trump earned that press for better or for worse. And that's what even Jack Dorsey of Twitter said. You got to earn that recognition. Well, Bloomberg and Steyer aren't doing that. To me, that's cheating, okay? And I don't care if you're left, right, top, down, whatever. I don't like the idea that special interests are interfering in what individuals have to say. This is how you swing elections and manipulate people. I don't like it. But Styx counters. Trump is half self-funded. Much of the rest of his cash comes from small donors, considerably more than for Sanders, who received comparable big donations by ratio. Trump is the grassroots candidate for 2020, not Pander and Sanders. Shoe on head's counter. And yet he still takes corporate money. I'd take pandering over someone corrupted by special interests. I will push back on that. I do not believe Trump is corrupted by special interests. He is the populist right candidate. He might take some cash from certain candidates, but come on, man. You look at the way Trump acts, nobody's telling that guy what to do. That's one of the problems. When they come to him and say, here's our advice to you, he goes, no, I ain't having it. Volker and Morrison testified that they were trying to convince Trump Ukraine is on the level, and he wouldn't believe them. So you think that the NRA or some other organization is going to go to Trump and be like, here's some money, do as we say. He's going to be like, no, I don't like it. The plan doesn't make sense. Nah, Trump knows what he's doing, and nobody's getting in his way. Sticks's close. This is the last tweet in the thread. He says, old mythology, long since. Oh, I'm sorry. Sticks responded. I jumped ahead of myself. Private business and special interests are not always the same thing. June's response was that Trump may have been the grassroots anti-establishment guy in 2016, but just like Obama, he turned into a hack as soon as he stepped into office. The first thing he did was give tax cuts to the rich and continues to ignore the Rust Belt that had so much faith in him. No, June, you are wrong. I'm sorry. Now, he did give a tax cut to the rich, but it did hit the middle class. They did see major tax cuts. And there was like a spin that people's tax refunds were going down. Yeah, because you're keeping more of your money. Also, he has not ignored the Rust Belt. He may not be succeeding as much as he'd like to, but there was recently a story, New York Post did interviews with people in the Rust Belt. They're very much still happy with him. We'll see where that brings us. All I can say for now is I do not believe he is ignoring the Rust Belt at all. Sticks closes out with, old mythology long since debunked. The Trump tax cut mainly benefited the middle class and entrepreneurs, as both, I assure you, it was significant. Now, I thought this really was a great conversation. I think they both made great points. They were both right and wrong in some areas. But this is the kind of conversation we should be having. Whether or not Bernie is the right choice, or Obama, or Trump, or otherwise, it's good to see people discussing the issues in sane ways. But admittedly, both Sticks and Shoe are sane individuals with great YouTube channels, so I recommend them. So it's no surprise they had a legitimate conversation about Bernie versus Trump. But I would much prefer to see a Bernie versus Trump battle because they're populists. Bernie's the more socialist candidate, Trump's the more capitalist, and see who wins. But having big players and the DNC collude to stop Bernie and outsiders from coming in, it's not the way. It's not. And as much as I don't like the big far left push and a lot of the identitarian stuff they're pushing, I don't like cheating more. If I lose on merit. That's why I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. Trump won because people voted for him. Okay, I get it, right? I'm not going to complain about it. That's the way the game was played. If I see wrongdoing, I'll call it out. What the DNC is doing is not above board. In this instance, Obama's allowed to speak up. It's not the worst thing they've done, but they've done bad things. So I'll leave it there. Stick around. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.